really interesting Energy Daily yesterday. That's the newsletter that you and the team write. And you talk a lot about this news, potentially, of that new pipeline being set between Russia all the way to China, potentially opening up new customers to Russia and moving away from some of the dependency on Europe. So really a potential game changer for Russia.
I mean, it could redraw the map of energy trade. This is all part of Russia's pivot east. It's been key for them to find new customers because the European Union will be banning all Russian gas imports by the end of 2027. Europe was once their biggest customer, but now those sales are dwindling down about 90% from when before the war began in 2022. Now, for China, they get dirt cheap gas. It's good for them as well, this kind of deal. Russia is offering gas supplies at a lower price than what they were selling to Europe. Clearly, Russia is desperate. They need a customer. And China, willing to lend a hand, also wants a good deal out of this as well. Now, the details of this are still being kind of figured out. There are numerous unknowns. But that being said, it does show a step forward. It's symbolic in that these countries are joining together in a way that China will depend potentially on Russian energy for decades to come as their largest supplier of gas.
Yeah, so really enhancing and deepening those economic ties alongside the political ties, which we were discussing earlier on in the show. What does this mean for the U.S.'s ambitions to dramatically increase the amount of their own gas exports? Is this going to be problematic somehow?
Now, if this project, Power of Siberia 2, does come to fruition, that will equal about 40 million tons of LNG, equivalent of LNG, per year, in the 2030s. So it's not going to have an immediate impact on the market, but that 40 million tons per year, to put that into context, is half the demand of Chinese LNG imports just last year. So it's a very large number. Wow. Now, again, if this pipeline does come forward, that means that Chinese LNG demand growth, they're the world's biggest LNG buyer, may not rise significantly in the 2030s. And that's important because the U.S. is the world's biggest supplier of LNG. And while right now trade tension has forced China to shift away from U.S. LNG imports, clearly in the future, having a larger market where there are more buyers will be key to underpin a number of large projects that are kind of on the drawing board across the U.S. Gulf, as well as in Alaska, a project that Trump has been pushing forward pretty significantly while they haven't been able to find really any concrete buyers. So the less demand there is for LNG from China, the less American exporters are essentially able to sell and enter the market. Now, again, not an immediate impact in the near term, but it is something in the 2030s, and it is something that Trump has talked about. He wants to own energy dominance. He wants to use the weight behind him, and he wants to continue export growth well into the next decade. And that's something that could be hindered with this deal with Russia.